So, fifth grade at Normandale Hills has been continuing to evolve since we went one-to-one with our Chromebooks 4 years ago. And we've wanted to continue to implement them at their fullest potential. And every year we've continued to add to them in math and in reading specifically, but separated by their reading teacher and their math teacher. This past year we wanted to take a more flexible approach and think about what would be the best way to motivate our students, because we are realizing that the motivation is really the key for our kids. And so when given the options of how they'd like to learn, the motivation of choosing their to-do list, what to do off of their list, and choosing where they'd like to work and with which teachers they'd like to work, it gives them that ownership and hopefully can help facilitate some of those high levels of learning.
So what we've done is, in the traditional classroom you have your instruction, like whole class instruction time, and then you give the kids time for guided practice and independent work. What we decided to do was kind of take off the guided practice and independent work, and then we moved that aside into our flex. And the reason we did that is because instead of just drawing from a small pool of students who might need that one specific skill, and you'll have other kids in other classes that need that skill, what we can do is we can draw from a bigger pool to work on a more direct skill. So we're kind of more surgical, more focused on the specific thing that the student needs to work on.
So in the past, the reading teacher, myself being one of them, would teach for a core 90-minute block. And what we found through the years is that 90 straight minutes of, not direct instruction, but 90 straight minutes of a lot coming at the kids didn't always help some of our students digest it in a way that was manageable for them. So we decided to shorten up our blocks to 30-minute blocks and do a burst of whole group mini lesson instruction, and then give the kids some work time. So sometimes they would be working on those strategies from the mini lesson, or potentially they might come back to it later in the day. We also realized it wasn't necessarily impertinent that they always did their read to self in front of us. Their 30 minutes of independent reading could happen at their own pace. Some students really like to do the reading first, and that's how they like to start their day. Some students want to save it for the end because it's their favorite part of the day. So the students have some ownership of where they choose to put their reads to selves in their flexible choices. So we have the core instruction, but then instead of having the students in front of us for those full chunks of time, we have some more flexibility with giving them a break, giving them a quick movement break as well to get to their next spots, and then giving them the options of how they can best kind of process all of the information given to them. It also gives us a chance to pull the students who we didn't think got it in the whole group lesson and do a quick reteach, or pull kids who have already got it and begin their enrichment extension right away off the bat.
Well, I think there's a couple ways. First, academically speaking, I think like they're more engaged. They chose, you hear choice all the time. They chose what to do and when to do it. So I think that ramps up the engagement. Also, back to academics, is we get to be more strategic with what we're teaching those kids when we pull them. The final thing that I think where I'm seeing the biggest gains from day one to today, which is about a quarter of the way through the school year, is that independence and responsibility. Students are figuring out, like, here's what we need to do for the week, here are the times when I need to do it, I need to set myself up for success. We keep talking about that all the time. And they get to, like, they're building those skills that they need. And I think that are really important for especially middle school, when you have this much homework and you have this much time when you go home, and high school and beyond.
The thing I like about Flex is you can get help whenever you need it. And I like like about these flex times is I like working on math because I can work at my own pace.
The first part, it's like we can go wherever we want to flex. We can work wherever we want.
What I like about flex is that we can choose what to do and not have the teachers tell us what to do.